People we love don't truly leave us when they pass away. As long as we remember them, they continue to live in our hearts. The love and memories we hold on to are what keep them alive in spirit. Just like the sound of a rattlesnake's tail warns us, sometimes the loudest warnings come in the quietest moments. Listen carefully, because silence can sometimes speak louder than words. A rattlesnake's tail doesn't need to scream. Its rattle tells us everything we need to know. Sometimes it's not the amount of wealth or possessions you have that matters, but the kind of person you are. It's better to be humble and poor than dishonest and rich. Humility is a treasure that will carry you through life in ways money never will. Courage is something that only truly exists in moments of danger. A brave man faces death once, while a coward faces it over and over again in their mind, dreading the unknown. Don't live your life in fear. Embrace the challenges that come your way with strength. When you have an enemy, make sure they are strong too. Don't wish for an easy victory. If you defeat a strong enemy, you'll know that your victory means something, that you truly earned it. A bird that has eaten is not the same as one that is hungry. The bird with a full stomach flies, differently, perhaps with less urgency or energy, but the hungry bird flies with purpose. So, make sure you're not flying through life without understanding what really matters or why you're here. While youth is precious, there's something to be said for the wisdom that comes with age. Older people have lived through challenges, they have seen the world change, and they have learned the lessons that come with living. Trust their knowledge, as they've walked the path longer than you. Wisdom doesn't come from searching for it all the time. It's only when you stop desperately looking and start living the life the Creator intended for you that you truly find it. Life is about being in the present moment and understanding the lessons that unfold naturally. Sometimes not everything that appears to be good is truly beneficial. Not all plants that seem sweet lead to good things. It's important to look deeper and recognize the true value of something or someone before deciding to hold on to it. Take only what you need and always leave the earth as you found it. Nature gives us everything we need, but we must take care not to take too much or waste what has been provided to us. The earth is fragile, and we must respect it, leaving no harm behind when we take what we need. It's not enough to simply talk about peace. We must live it. We must act peace and spread peace through our daily actions. Only then can we truly make the world a better place. Peace is not just a word, it's a way of life. When we turn away from nature, our hearts become hard. We lose touch with the world around us, with the animals, the plants, and the rhythms of the earth. Our hearts grow cold when we forget to stay connected with the natural world. Be careful around those who are quiet. Sometimes the most dangerous person is the one who says nothing, the one who is calm and still. Their silence might be hiding something important that you need to understand. Life is full of pleasures, but they are often shallow. Our sorrows, on the other hand, run deep. Don't be afraid of sorrow, for it often brings great lessons. And remember, it doesn't take many words to speak the truth. The truth is simple, clear, and direct. Don't let yesterday's mistakes or regrets take up too much of your present. You only have today. Focus on the now, on making today the best it can be, and don't allow the past to steal your future. Wise person knows when to be strong and when to be gentle. If you are as wise as a serpent, you can afford to be harmless like a dove. It's not about being tough all the time. It's about knowing when to act with kindness and when to act with power. Poverty doesn't just affect your finances, it can also affect your spirit. When you struggle with poverty, it can lead to disrespect for the Creator and for others. But true wealth is not in possessions. It's in your soul, your character, and your actions. Your children are not really yours. They are gifts from the Creator. They are on loan to you, and it's your responsibility to guide them, to love them, and to teach them. They belong to the world as much as they belong to you. In spring, when the earth is waking up, walk lightly. The earth is full of new life, and we must tread carefully, not damaging the fragile life that is beginning to grow all around us. Ask questions from the heart, and you will receive answers from the heart. When you seek knowledge with honesty and sincerity, you'll find that the world has much to offer. The answers will come to you in the most unexpected ways. It's also important to remember that those who are well-fed can't understand the struggles of those who are hungry. The person who has everything may not fully grasp what it's like to live without. This reminds us to be empathetic toward others and not judge them based on our own circumstances. Cherish youth, but also trust in the wisdom that comes with age. Youth brings energy and excitement, but with age comes experience and understanding. We need to appreciate both stages of life and learn from each one. Trusting in the wisdom of older generations can help guide us through our own journey. Lastly, wisdom often comes when we stop searching for it so desperately. Sometimes the more we seek wisdom, the harder it is to find. It's only when we start living our lives as they were meant to be lived, trusting in the Creator's plan, that true wisdom reveals itself. Life teaches us lessons when we are ready to learn them, and the wisdom we seek often comes from living the way we are meant to, rather than searching for it endlessly. Finally, not every sweet root leads to sweet grass. Sometimes we invest in something that seems promising, but it doesn't always turn out the way we hope. Just because something seems good in the beginning doesn't guarantee a positive outcome. Life is full of surprises, and not everything will give us the result we expect. But that's okay. Each experience teaches us something valuable. Take only what you need and leave the land just as you found it. It is not enough to simply talk about peace. We must practice it, live by it, and make it part of our lives. When a person distances themselves from nature, they become disconnected from their own heart. Be cautious of those who do not speak and the dogs who do not bark. Our joys can be fleeting, while our pains can be deep and long-lasting. Truth doesn't need many words to be understood. Don't let the past take up too much of your present. If a person is wise like a serpent, they can also be gentle and harmless, like a dove. Poverty is like a tightrope around your neck, making it hard to stay humble and disrespecting both God and other people. Remember, your children are not truly yours. They are gifts given to you by the Creator. Walk carefully in the spring as Mother Earth is carrying new life. Ask questions from the heart, and you will receive answers that come from the heart as well. There is no such thing as death. There is simply a transition to another world. What is life? It is like the brief glow of a firefly in the night. It is the short breath of a buffalo during winter. It is like the small shadow that runs across the grass only to vanish into the sunset. Imagine a world where all the trees are gone, the last fish is caught, and the rivers are poisoned. At that point, we'll finally understand that money can't feed us no matter how much we have. We can't eat wealth when nature is destroyed, and that's something we'll only truly realize when it's too late. Inside each one of us, there's a constant battle between two wolves. One wolf is full of hatred and negativity. The other is kind, full of love and wisdom. You might wonder, which wolf wins the fight? The answer is simple. It's the one you feed. Whatever you nourish in your heart and mind, that is what grows and shapes who you become. When you were born, you cried, and the world celebrated your arrival. But think about it. How do you want the world to feel when you leave? Live in such a way that when you pass, the world feels sorrow for losing you, while you can rejoice in the life you've lived. Leave a legacy that matters, one that touches the hearts of others. Sometimes it's better to say less but act more. It's easy to talk a lot, but true strength lies in what you do, not just what you say. Let your actions speak for you, and let them be powerful like a thunderstorm, not just empty words like wind. If you talk too much, sometimes you miss the real lesson because you don't listen. And sometimes it's your own words that can hurt you the most. So be careful and use your words wisely. Seeking wisdom is far more important than simply collecting knowledge. Knowledge comes from the past. It's facts and information we've already learned. But wisdom is something that guides us into the future. It's understanding how to live, how to treat others, and how to make decisions that lead to a better life. Wisdom is not about memorizing facts. It's about understanding what really matters. When we face an enemy or challenge, it's often their weakness that gives us strength. Knowing what someone lacks can give us an advantage, but instead of seeing our opponents as enemies, we should aim to understand them better. The old saying, "Do not judge someone until you've walked in their shoes," is as true now as ever. It's easy to criticize others, but until you understand their struggles, their history, and their pain, it's impossible to really judge them fairly. There's a saying that only when the last tree is chopped down, the last fish is caught, and the last stream is poisoned, will we finally understand that money can't save us. At that point, we'll realize that all the wealth in the world can't replace the importance of the environment and nature around us. It's easy to forget how much we depend on the world for survival. We chase after money and material things, thinking they are the key to everything, but when the Earth's resources are gone, money will have no value at all. This reminds us that we should be careful about how we treat the planet and not take it for granted. There's a common saying that there are two wolves fighting inside each of us. One wolf represents the bad side of human nature, filled with anger, greed, and negativity. The other wolf represents the good side, filled with love, kindness, and wisdom. The question is, which one will win? The answer is simple. It depends on which wolf you choose to feed. If you feed the bad wolf with anger, hatred, or selfishness, it grows stronger. But if you feed the good wolf with love, compassion, and understanding, it will grow and win. We all have this internal struggle, and it's up to us to choose the path that we walk. When we are born, we cry, and the world celebrates our arrival. It's a joyous moment for our family and the people around us. But as we grow older and experience life, we must live in a way that, when our time comes, we leave behind a legacy that makes the world mourn our loss. We want to live in a way that makes a positive impact, where people remember us for the good we've done. Just as we once brought joy into the world, we should strive to bring something meaningful that others will miss when we are gone. There's an old saying that it's better to have less talk and more action. It's easy to talk about big ideas and grand plans, but it's much more important to show up and take action. Words can be empty if not followed by meaningful work. The power of action speaks louder than words ever could. We often hear people boast about what they will do, but it's the ones who quietly go about doing it who truly make a difference. In life, it's the actions that show who we really are, not just what we say. There's also a reminder to be careful with our words. Sometimes when we talk too much or speak without thinking, it can cause us to make mistakes. It's a bit like when we hear ourselves speaking, and it starts to sound like noise. If we don't listen carefully to what we say, we can end up causing harm without meaning to. So it's important to think before we speak and consider the impact our words may have on others. By listening more and speaking less, we can avoid unnecessary conflict and become better communicators. One important piece of advice is to seek wisdom instead of just seeking knowledge. Knowledge is about facts, history, and things we learn from the past. Wisdom, however, is more than just knowing things. It's the ability to use that knowledge in a way that helps us understand life better and guides us toward making the right decisions. Wisdom helps us to see beyond the present and consider the future. While knowledge may tell us about what has happened, wisdom helps us navigate the path ahead. Another point to remember is that the enemy's weakness can become our strength. When we face challenges or conflict, we often look for ways to use our strengths. But sometimes our strength can come from understanding where our enemies or opponents are weak. By learning their weaknesses, we can better prepare ourselves to face difficulties. This doesn't mean taking advantage of others in an unfair way, but it's about understanding the situation and using it to our benefit. Before we judge someone, we should first try to understand them. There's an old saying, "Do not judge your neighbor until you walk 2 moons in his moccasins." This means we should try to see the world from their perspective before jumping to conclusions. Everyone has their own story, and we don't always know what others are going through. By walking in their shoes, we can learn to be more compassionate and less quick to judge. Those who are loved and remembered by others live on in the hearts of those who knew them. It's not the body that defines us, but the memories and impacts we leave behind. The people who touch our lives in a meaningful way never truly die. They live on in our hearts and thoughts. This reminds us that the way we treat others, the love we give, and the kindness we show are what make us truly immortal in the minds of those we leave behind. There's a lot we can learn from nature, even from the smallest creatures. A rattlesnake, for example, doesn't need to speak loudly to make itself known. The sound of its tail is enough to alert anyone nearby. In the same way, we should strive to make our actions speak for themselves. We don't always need to make a loud announcement of what we're doing, our work and present.